Today, we're going to talk about the part of LinkedIn outreach that almost nobody addresses because all the attention goes to getting the first reply and almost none goes to what happens after. And the situation that most solo operators find themselves in after running outreach for a few weeks is the system is not working. The replies are coming in, but new conversations are starting. But somewhere in the middle of all that, something else has happened. And that's that conversations start to pile up in various states. Some need a response today. Some are warm, but in a natural pause, waiting for you to re-engage kind of status. So some went quiet 3 days ago, and you're not sure if you should follow up now or if it seemed too eager. Some were booked for a call, and that call is tomorrow, but you've yet to prepare. So that inbox, which is showing you all these conversations in roughly reverse chronological order, has no indicator of which one needs attention and what order. So it's not helping you in any sort of a way. Getting the reply is the part of the outreach system handles. What happens to those conversations after they reply is a completely different problem. And for most solo operators, it's where the most revenue is quietly disappearing from your outreach efforts. When your inbox has no system, you have replies that are piling up. So some need a response today, some went quiet days ago. You have competing priorities. You've got client work, you've got outreach, and everything is happening all at once. And what's happening is that you just have no visibility, you have no indication of which conversations need attention or when they need attention. And this is where things are breaking down within your system. When a prospect replies to your outreach, there is a window, and it's not a very long one. The reply came because something in your message landed at the moment. Maybe they saw a piece of content that you put out, maybe they saw a comment, but there's something that triggered for them to do the response now. Because I promise you that inbox that they have on the other side is also equally a mess. And the moment that it comes over does not last forever. That attention is going to move because their inbox fills with other things, other priorities. And the curiosity that you magically produced is real, but is very perishable. It has an expiry date. And that is a big problem for you because when you're running outreach, you also have client work, you're managing a business, you're handling everything that comes with being an entrepreneur. And the reply that comes in at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, if it's not getting seen until Wednesday morning, and then you're checking back over to a spreadsheet, now you're replying back on a Thursday, it's just so hard to convert that lead. Your prospect on the other side also has lost the interest that they originally had. And there's a big thought that goes through people's minds, especially when they're trying to hire you to do something. And that is, how you do one thing is how you do all things. If you don't have the speed to reply today through a sales conversation, what's that going to look like when they actually become a client of yours? And again, this is not a discipline problem. This is not because you don't care about your prospect. It is not because you don't care about your own process. It's that the tool that you are using was never designed for that in the first place. So I could show you lots of graphs that have been built on a lot of research about really just how short our windows are when we are responding back to a hot and interested lead. But what happens is LinkedIn is just not designed on its own for you to be productive. If you're logging in every morning, afternoon, and night to review what's happening, it's a mess. And that's because the platform was designed to keep you on there as long as possible. So there's no real way for you to stay on top of your most important messages. A reply that doesn't get a timely response, it's going to cool off. And that's the most obvious leak. A prospect who was warm when they replied is noticeably cooler 3 days later. They've moved on mentally. Your response, however, was good, is now going to have to be restarting a conversation rather than continuing. And that's a much harder conversion than the one you would have had if you just responded back that day. Conversations that stall in natural pauses are the subtler leak. The exchange had genuine energy coming into that conversation. Both of the sides were engaged. You said something, you did something that sparked their curiosity. But then this big lull happens because you just couldn't respond until 2-3 days later. And that again is because I don't think that you should have to log into LinkedIn 3 times a day to check these conversations. What you do need is a tool that helps you identify who needs my attention today. The other thing that happens a lot is you've got a prospect who is very interested to move forward with you in booking a sales call, or perhaps the sales call has happened and you need to do a follow-up in 1, 2, 3 weeks, whichever. There's no way to set a reminder on LinkedIn. You usually have to require yourself to have something like a CRM that then gives you a tasks over there, and then you have to come back and you have to find the conversation and find the profile. And we know it's probably why you're not doing the recommended follow-up, and you might just be trying to send an email or call them directly from your CRM. But we know that those have very competing attention over there. It's very hard to break through the inbox on email, and very rarely do people pick up the phone when they don't recognize the phone number. So breaking through and using LinkedIn is one of the best ways that I stay on top of all of my leads, because there's a lot less noise that's happening there on the platform. But I need a system that doesn't rely on LinkedIn to show me who I need to be talking to today. This is a big shift that happens when you have a system that can have every conversation being logged and what current stage it is currently in. This changes the timing problem entirely. So instead of having to manage 15 conversations by memory and just responding to whichever one happens to catch your eye in the inbox, you're responding to the conversation that the system has identified as needing attention today. So the highest urgency conversation gets you the fastest response. So the judgment about what to say, how to move the conversation forward, how to position your offer, that's still yours. The system is not going to replace that. But what it does replace is that operational burden of having to track 15 different conversations and knowing which one needs your attention today. And all the gurus can say whatever they want about sales conversations and objections, but honestly, all sales really is checking off a list of things to do every day. That if you do enough follow-up in the right order with enough timely response, you will hit those 30-40% conversion rates on those sales conversations and get more deals closed. So the need to have memory that I have to check back in 2 weeks, or use an outside CRM that then can magically send you back over, and having to send emails here and phone calls there, just keep it really, really simple and keep those conversations on LinkedIn and use a tool that I'm about to show you here in just a minute. So when the outreach and the conversation management are in different tools, there is a handoff problem. So a reply comes into the automations tool inbox. You need to then remember to manually create an entry in your pipeline tracker for these conversations, and then figure out what the next action needs to be. Connector handles both sides of the cycle all in one place. So the automation is doing the connection requests and then capturing all of the replies, and the replies come into a singular inbox. And in that inbox, we have the ability to create labels and tracking and what was said, any notes that we need on that, any tasks that we need to refollow up with those people. And that is a huge gap that we tried to solve for many, many years. So if you want to try this system, I have a 7-day free trial for you. If you click on the link below, it'll take you over, you set it up. And if you send me an email to support@salesbites.co and say, hey, Kara, I watched your YouTube video, my team's actually going to set you up with some templates, and we're going to import and get some campaigns started for you, as well as get you some messaging that's the exact messaging that you've seen in all of the testimonials that I've shared with you on the amount of deals that have been closed. This data has been trained on over 500 different accounts that we've used this process on, and we will import that into your account today. Just let me know through email that you've watched the video. All right, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, because every single week I put out new videos just how we use various platforms to book B2B sales calls. Cheers.